Hi, everybody. My name is Victoria Dickson. I am a product manager at Veritone, and myself and my special guest here are going to walk through today's topic with you of reaching out to diverse communities while still increasing revenue. There we go, clicker works. So I think we can all agree it is incredibly vital for brands to hit every single point on this screen, right? We make sure in any initial launch or any initial brand creation that we are engaging, we are setting the standard of quality that we want to deliver to our customers. We're concerned about what that customer experience looks like, right, on a day-to-day basis, as well as making the brand recognizable. Would you say the same is true when we're attempting to reach out to net new audiences? So that initial brand creation, these are considered. However, when we're looking into accessibility, when we're looking into localization, is that still the case, and does that still remain the standard? Taking that one step further, can AI actually help? Got a little feedback there, that's all right. Can AI actually help, and how can, I don't think it's on. Yeah, okay, I'll bring it closer now. And how can AI actually help us facilitate that additional brand affinity and communication to our clientele? There's an active debate going on right now where what is generative AI and what does that mean? And what does that mean for how we engage with our clients? Generative AI is pretty much just a fancy term for creating something net new out of existing content. And really, there's two frames of thought. Is it going to replace the workforce, or is it just going to modify how those people working at those companies, whether it be a studio, broadcast, etc., will it just modify the way that they're engaging with technology? Regardless of which side of the debate you're on, it is absolutely true that the quality we're able to provide today with AI does have those humanistic qualities that allow us to create that brand recognition and engage with our audience at a high quality level. So now I'm going to play this voice clip. We'll see if it plays properly. No? No audio? Play it on the laptop? All right. Oh, not that one yet. Technical difficulties. Please wait. All right, let's see if I can play it on here, turn up the volume, and have you guys hear this.
Welcome to the 100th anniversary of the National Association of Broadcasters.
Breaking news from Washington, D.C. Mayor announces free public transit for all residents.
Hello, and welcome to Voice FM, your favorite station for everyday listening from the workday to the weekend.
All right, well, you guys can come see me afterwards. I'll play them for you. They're pretty good. I'm biased, but that's the reaction we typically get when people hear this is like eyebrows lift, a little bit of shock, right? We've got 3 different clips on here that I went through. One that is a little bit more of an announcer style voice. So if you can imagine one going over the PA, announcing welcome to the 100th anniversary of NAB. Another one that is a little bit more flat in its intonation, but really is more for like breaking news. And then the last one where it is a radio host. So lots of inflection, kind of connecting with our audience. So come see me after and you can hear those. Really with the goal of creating these synthetic voices is to engage with the audience, right? We hit off on all of those points in that first slide about what we want to do as a brand, whether that be an individual content creator, whether that be a studio brand. And with synthetic audio, we're able to increase our reach into areas we wouldn't be able to without it. or at a rate of speed that was not previously possible because it was contingent on physical or vocal manpower. So some of these points, more inclusive, right? What does that mean? Accessible. Those two are kind of linked together. With synthetic audio or synthetics in general, what we're able to do is enable communities like the visually impaired to engage with content they wouldn't previously be able to. So if we imagine YouTube videos or any visual representation of content, they're talking, right? So if you're visually impaired, okay, they can still hear it. But if someone is picking up, a coffee cup or something that's contextually relevant in the screen without audio description, that audience is currently being underserved. What are the options you have available? You could ask the talent voice to go back in and re-record everything with those contextual cues, right? But that's a lot of studio time. Another option is creating a synthetic version of their voice, creating a script via AI or writers, or both, that can actually accomplish that audio description, create it with that brand voice, and then publish it out to serve that community. Additionally, with multilingual, I'm a self-proclaimed nerd. I don't know if anyone else is, but I love anime. And, it's often dubbed versus subbed, right? If you ask someone about it, that's actually kind of a little bit of a debate of which one you prefer, because typically it's a different actor that does that dubbing into that net new language. So for me and my husband, we both watch together. He refuses to watch the dub. He only will watch the sub. He's like, that is the actor voice. I refuse to watch it in another language because it's not the same person. Myself, I'm a multitasker. I can't sit there and stare at the screen all day. I've got to multitask. I've got to move around. I'm doing something on my laptop. I'm doing a puzzle. I'm multitasking, right? So I have to watch it with the dubbed, with the net new talent. What happens if that talent doesn't want to do that anymore? What happens if that talent changes careers? What happens if that talent passes away or renegotiates incredibly high out of that studio's price range, right? Now me participating with that content, I'm served with a net new voice I've never heard before if we're using traditional voice actors. With AI, it's actually possible to take that origin talent and use language transfer to create a synthetic version that has humanistic qualities. So it sounds like them, but speaking that new language. So for instance, I only speak English, habla un poquito español, but para así así, and I think that's one of the only phrases I know. But with AI today, I could create a synthetic version of my voice speaking Spanish. Another important thing to call out, I didn't understand this when I first started, but localization and translation are not the same thing. Translation, typically machine driven, right? Or like if you go into Google, you can say copy paste this, translate it into this new language. I'd say on average that's about 97% accurate. Some use cases that's acceptable. Some languages that's acceptable. Other it's not quite, some of the Romance languages you might switch a couple words and it sounds a little funny and people giggle. But other languages, you actually might unintentionally insult someone. So the differentiator with localization, it's more of like a human in the loop with translation, where you actually have that quality and quality assurance to make sure that whatever you're putting out there is contextually relevant to that new demographic that you're addressing. I'm going to skip these because the audio didn't work on the first one that we tried. But what this slide essentially shows is not just within localization or within accessibility does AI thrive. It also has many more things that you can do as a content creator or as a studio or as a broadcast network that allow you to monetize that synthetic voice. The first clip, and once again you can see me after if you want to hear it, is basically a voice skin with a Halloween theme So if you're doing Halloween advertisements or things like that, you can actually artificially change the voice for any sort of ad placement that your network might be doing. And voice control, you're able to do things such as liveliness impacts or prosody changes to change the way that the voice sounds. Oh wait, that one worked. Maybe it was just on my laptop. There we go. So why does all of this matter? Really, it boils down to these 2 points, right? We want to have a good customer experience so they come back, so they trust us, so they listen to us, so they can rely on us, right? We want to serve those underserved communities within localization and within accessibility so that we can broaden our reach, right? Engage with those customers that don't really have as many options or maybe limited in their options. The other thing we really want to do is enhance our workforce, right? Instead of them coming in and maybe translating something net new from scratch, right? If we give them translation engines and allow them to do a manual QA of that localization, we're able to optimize what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and make them more effective, in turn generating more revenue. This is kind of a recap slide of how we want to take everything I already talked about and put it into play, and how we want to frame it whenever making those assessments on where to go and what to do within AI. We really want to create, right? Most people in here or in this conference are creators, or work for creators, or work with creators, right? We want to be able to create more faster, but still maintaining that quality. We want to be able to better manage what we're creating to effectively engage with those audiences. It comes down to money too, right? We're not, I don't think, some people in here might be in charity, you know, which is fantastic, but companies have to generate revenue, right? So the first 2 lead to that third one. How can we create effectively to generate revenue? And be innovators, right? It's 2023. Things are changing. There's a lot of new things out there that we can use and leverage to accomplish those first 3. This is an important recap slide. I know AI can be a little scary. It has been around for a while now, but it's still, some people are a little bit wary of it. Veritone specifically, we really believe in AI for good. It's not just a catchphrase. We walk the walk that we talk. A good example of this is there was a prominent CEO who was diagnosed with ALS, and he actually knew that he was going to lose his vocal cords. Our team worked with him to create a synthetic version of his voice so that he could actually text-to-speech-wise give a speech for his son's wedding. Right? I know, I heard an awe. I think so too. Not just that, whenever we do work with IP or any sort of talent, we always get consent. Deep fakes and things like that are very important to us, and we take that seriously. We will never create a voice unless we have that talent permission, or in the case of a deceased talent, the permission of the governing body, whether that be a trust or a company or the family, whoever owns the IP, we ensure we get proper consent. So thank you guys so much for listening to everything that I had to say. If you have any questions, or if you want to hear these clips after the fact, they wouldn't play, feel free to come see me up here, or I'll be at the Veritone booth. It's just a couple aisles down after this. So thank you, everybody.